This first slide I didn't put in there, so I'm going to let you read it instead of me tell you about myself. I did think it was kind of funny that our most humorous presenter was our lawyer so far. I give him the vote for the funniest presentation. Yeah, I didn't have my money on him, so that was a nice surprise. I'm assuming everybody in here is already an entrepreneur at this stage that we're talking about. So we're not so much talking about startup cash as we're talking about funding growth and cash that you need to build your business. Right now, if you're doing that, you don't need a 30-page business plan. You need money, and as you've heard from several of the other presenters, it's a tough way to get money. The best way to get money right now for a lot of people is to get a job, which is meant to be somewhat humorous, but if you don't have a great company right now, that really is probably your best option, because mediocre companies, mediocre ideas are not getting funded. But you don't want a job, right? That's why you're here, part of the VEF, you're an entrepreneur. You created your own job, whether you wanted to or not. Maybe you didn't know what you were getting into, but when you created your own job, you created what I think is the toughest job on earth. It might even be the worst job on the planet, some people would say, and I don't want to sound so negative, but I think that those of you who are in here that are thinking about doing it need to understand that the hardest way possible to get money is to be an entrepreneur. It's much easier to do something else. And part of the reason why, you're going to enjoy low to no pay. You're going to reap the benefit of no benefits. You're going to work long hours, get very little sleep, and deal with a ton of problems. So it sounds like a really tough business to get into, but it's really not that bad. It's actually a wonderful thing to be involved in, and in order to do so, you need to get funded. So assuming you have a business and you're here today and you want to learn about that, that's what I'm going to talk about, because that's what I've done in the past, and that's what we're doing now at Funding Universe. In order to get funded, it's kind of sounds simple, but it's true. You've got to run a great company. You've got to have a team together that does a simple thing. You solve a problem by providing a product or service to a lot of people who have money, who want to buy your solution. Sounds simple, but it works. So, before we get into this simple kind of plan, I'm going to give you some ideas and some thoughts on how you might follow a simple strategy. Some of the questions that one might ask are, moving along, there we go. Who's on your team? If it's your brother-in-law, your best friend from high school, probably not the best answer. What problem do you solve? If it's a problem that nobody really has, doesn't really need solving, not the best answer. How will you market to a certain amount of people? Oh, that went fast. The life of an entrepreneur is answering all of those questions all the time. You have to know the answer to every question that I just missed in that last slide. So, because you're constantly asked that stuff by investors, venture capitalists, banks, and so forth. I will not even attempt to read that in 15 seconds, but these are the types of questions that are available on the website, right? That you can read through that investors are going to ask you. I've been asked these questions with every business I've started, every one I will start, success or failure, and so will you. So make sure you know those like the back of your hand. If you don't have answers to these types of questions, and you don't have detailed answers to these types of questions, you're not going to get the funding for the growth that you need. That's the hard and fast truth. So make sure that you memorize that list again that is on the website. A big part of it that some of our friends from CFO Solutions talked about is the financial modeling. And that's part of the answer. Excuse me, you've got to have a financial model that's fully integrated with all these different important parts of the financial statements, balance sheets, salaries, headcount, so forth and so on. This is a sample of one that I have for a business that you'll notice down here along the bottom. We have all kinds of different tabs, including income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, sales assumptions, cap table, and we go out 3 to 5 years. There's one thing I can guarantee about that statement I just showed you, and that is that it's wrong. So it cracks me up when I see them go past 3 years, because I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 3 weeks, let alone in 3 years. But you still need to do it. And the reason why is because entrepreneurs don't like writing business plans, and investors don't really like reading business plans. They like executive summaries that are short and to the point. You should include in those summaries your problem and your solution, a brief overview of your market, brief overview of your product, traction and milestones, your management team and key advisors, and any financial details and deal terms. There's a couple other things you want to consider when you're presenting to investors looking for money. The 12-year-old rule. The 12-year-old doesn't get what you do, it's too complicated. Guy Kawasaki's 10-20-30 rule, which I didn't even follow here. You got 10 slides, 20 minutes, 30-point fund or higher per slide. It's a great rule. Right now, we've seen in the last year 5.6 million new startups, 1.9 million of them seeking funding. Only 50,000 of them were successful in raising capital, and that means 97% needed help in getting money. And so we're hopeful that you're not going to be a statistic. So far this year, in 2009 to Funding Universe, we've connected entrepreneurs with just over $30 million in funding so far this year, and we hope to hit about $50 million by year end. So that's what we do. If you're a business and you need money, pitch me. Thank you.